This is About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills, author, speaker, and entrepreneur. Sit back and enjoy.
Greetings, fam. Today I'm going to continue with the best and the worst ways to make money. And this is part 2. Now, I already talked about the worst ways being having a job and then owning a job. Now, according to Myron Golden, in what is quickly becoming a Bible for particularly African Americans to make money, the Ebony Treasure Map, he says the best way to make money is to own a system, a business system, right? Now check it out. One of the definitions, I didn't get this definition out of the book, but a system is a procedure, a process, a method, or course of action designed to achieve a specific result. Its component parts and interrelated steps work together for the good of the whole. Creating effective business systems is the only way to attain results that are consistent, measurable, and ultimately benefit customers. Now, you know, that's real technical. To understand it, think about somebody who creates like a retail store, right? You know, they can actually create something and create a system within that store where they don't have to be, they can own it and they don't have to set foot in the store if they don't really want to. That's owning a system, right? Say you have a retail store, you selling t-shirts. Let's go back to that old example of t-shirts, right? Well, you have the space, you have the way you're going to order, how you're going to pay people, how the people will be hired, who will be the manager, payroll, and all of that. Basically, you own that whole process. And basically, that process is going to make money for you even when you're not there. You don't have to do anything. Shoot, you can sit back. You know, you can like make some general decisions, but you have a manager running day-to-day things. The manager is running the day-to-day operations. You know, they're taking care of the hiring. If you look at these major corporations, the people who maybe own it or anything don't deal with day-to-day things. If you look at some place like Walmart, that's a system. You know, the owners of Walmart, these billionaire children, they don't really have any part in who gets hired at some like, some rural towns Walmart or something. That's a system. It's working. They probably don't have any idea. Or if y'all remember that show Undercover Boss, you know, these are CEOs. They weren't the owners, but a lot of times they didn't know the processes at the lowest level. You know, they had to be shown how to do stuff. They had to pick it up, and sometimes they would be undercover. You know, somebody showed them something, and the person, that knowing that this is a CEO or something, would be like, you know, I don't think this person can make it in this business. Some people have been told that. Some CEOs have been told that they own, you know, they basically run in the business. They don't really own it. But Jack, it's the same difference, right? Because it's a system. You know, owning a barbershop can be a system. Think about it. Like you know what? I cut my kids' hair. I could, you know, somebody needed an emergency cut. I can give them a decent cut. But I'm not a licensed barber. Yet I could open up a barbershop and never cut a person's head. Because what I would do, I would get somebody to manage. I get a barber to manage it. I say, okay, you the manager, you know, you get that cut, but you just basically run the operations for it. All right. You get a little bit extra plus whatever you make from cuts. You know, you get the people in there to rent out a chair and everything like that. You know, I keep the electricity on and all that stuff, right? You know, as long as I get my cut. You know, that's a system. Basically, a system is running without you having to be there. Without you having to take a part in day-to-day operations. Basically giving you time. In fact, I could probably, using that method, like start a nationwide chain of barbershops. You know, have a certain method, certain style, and, you know, not be able to cut one single head myself. But that's what a lot of owners will do. They'll get the system. A lot of owners own, there's a lot of business owners who own stuff that they don't have any personal skill in. Or sometimes what happens is they'll buy a system. Somebody make enough money, they'll buy a system. Like if they, like using the retail example again, right? They'll see the store, they like the operations, maybe expand it. They'll just buy it and keep the system in place. They'll keep people in place to run it. That's owning a business system. In fact, that's the best way to like expand the business. Like I've known, like I knew these guys who owned a bookstore, independent bookstore in the independent black bookstore in the DC area, right? Eventually they went out of business, but for other reasons, but not the business thing. But they basically had a system. They could have expanded to, they had a small chain of 6 stores, but because of the system they had in place, they could have went to like 36 stores. And one of the owners was quoted as saying that they could have for the system. Now, like I said, they're out of business now for, I'll just say, personal reasons, but that's a system. And that's the best thing to own. It's like I say, you don't have to be there. You don't have to hire the people. You got managers. You got everything is in place, even the ordering, how people get paid. And the beauty of a system is not dependent on one person. Like owning a job is dependent on that person, And most people who work in jobs, they work in a system. Like if they leave that job, they just get replaced. See, the system isn't dependent on the person. I'm going to say that again. It is a process. All the processes are there. You just got to plug somebody in who's competent enough to keep the processes going to work the process. The training, how everything is done, that's a system. Now, that's the best way. Now, the thing is, it takes a while to build up that system, but the reward is great. And, the owner can just sit back, And now if they can be, have somebody manage it for them. Like, actually, you have some real estate people on real estate who actually have a type of system, because you can have different types of systems. You have some real estate people do it. You can have like somebody ordinary, right? Somebody just, they actually working on a regular job, but they're getting high money and they were smart enough to invest in homes. They could have, say, 5 homes or something. That's kind of a system right there, because what if they say, I don't feel like dealing with the clients or anything, so I'm going to set it up. I'm going to set up a LLC and I'm going to hire a manager to take care of this stuff. I'm going to hire a manager to take care of repairs, taxes, all this stuff that has to be done with regard to the houses. That's a system, right? So that's ultimately the best way. Now, the second best way, Myron Goldie called it SMS, which is sold money seeds. And this is investing in things like stocks, oil wells, gold mines, tax lien certificates. Basically, investing. And you get a lot of people who make $1 million, and really, they don't own a thing. They don't own a business. They ain't working a business. They just sit back chilling. But you got some $1 million investors. Like, theoretically, someone who really can spot trends, who can do their due diligence, if they got a little bit of money and they have some discipline, through investments they can become millionaires. And there's a lot of ordinary folks out there who, they might be working like a blue collar job, a retail job, but they invest. I actually know someone who used to work on a retail job, and she was real cool. She shared with me, this woman got 6 figures in investments because she got because of this company, this retail company she used to work for that she invested in. She got some stock with them. That's an investment. Even getting into buying stock in your company, sometimes you got companies that let you buy it. That's an investment. And then, you get smart and buy some other stuff. In one of my previous videos, I mentioned this millionaire I know. So that's how he make money. He said, yeah, buy some oil stock. For the time being, people still going to need oil. So he knew all about that. So he sold the money seeds, and, it's like, you don't have to do anything. You just sit back. I mean, a basic, 401k plans or IRAs, that's at a basic level. A money market, a money market is just the base. I mean, that's like the base. If you can get, most times a money market, you can open one for $2,500 to $3,000, maybe even less, right? And if you can be disciplined enough not to touch it and maybe just add to it every month, it's going to make you money. At some point, then it makes you more and more money. And that's just basic. That's just basic. Now imagine if you're the type of person who you can spot trends, and I would advise, I know people got stockbrokers and stuff, but best way to really know where to invest is to know what's going on. If your ears to the street, right? Right now, I would seriously invest in any companies that deal with social media. And the reason why I would do that is because everybody is walking around with smartphones, and they're constantly in the smartphones, and you got to have content for the smartphones. So any company that is involved in creating content, the bigger they are, you're like, I might be looking into Google stock or something like that, or Alphabet as they call themselves. You got to think about, that's how you invest. You got to say, oh, wait a minute. Okay, say, you've been looking at weather reports, almanacs, and everything, and you realize in a particular region it's going to be real cold, right? Like a particular city or something. What I would do is go around to different department stores and different stores and just pay attention to people on the street and be like, all right, it's real cold. What coats are people wearing? What's the style? Or another way you could think about investing is, this is becoming another whole other video. Maybe I'll do another video on that. But real quick, you just want to look at what the trends are and then figure out who owns the trends. And there's even websites, trend watching websites, and you actually have companies that actually pay attention to these things. But I'll do another video on what to invest in, what to pay attention to. Because right now, and then I'll just say just what I'm doing. That's why I'm big on content right now, and I'm still expanding my my social media presence. It wasn't strong for a long time because I wasn't, my mind wasn't there. But now I'm like, wait a minute, I need to be on more places. Because because they have the smartphones. So, but that's just one way. When somebody decides that they're going to create more electric cars, well, whatever component goes in the batteries for those cars, I'm gonna be looking into that. I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, more electric cars, they're gonna need batteries. What goes into the batteries? Boom. So anyway, right, and that's it for today. Let's go make that money.